This is the Tom Bigby Tales. I'm your host, Shannon Evans. I write about a small town in northeast Mississippi on the Tombigbee River called Columbus, and sometimes I write about the rest of the state. This is episode 5 of Heritage Academy, where some are more equal than others. Hello and welcome. I had a lengthy podcast I had prepared to release today on the MAIS and their relationship with their member schools. However, I got some information sent to me today that is incredibly damning if true. And based on the source, I do believe it is true. And of course, I have masked any personal details to protect their anonymity. Anyone who sends me information, leads, etc., are given complete anonymity if that is their desire. My inbox is full of stories of abuse of power, bullying, mismanagement of money, malfeasance, and reckless behavior by the administration and others associated with the school in a non-employee, non-faculty capacity. If you wish to share your experience, reach out to me via email or messages. If you are afraid of persecution or negative consequences occurring to you or to your child, please don't hesitate to reach out with your Heritage Academy stories, and I promise I will keep your identity anonymous. And if you don't want them published at all, but just want to get them off your chest, I promise I will listen. But let's get into today's episode. I got this information this morning from someone in the know, and I'm reading it mostly as it was sent to me. The only edits are to abbreviate or insert names for clarity. Shannon. Lynn Sneed and Shane Blanton were high school sweethearts. They did not go to school together. When her husband discovered, it's believed now that she let him catch her, his wife Lynn was caught texting on an encrypted site while at a school function. He immediately pointed a finger at Sean Harrison. Her husband even told their Sunday school class Lynn was having an affair with Harrison. Why was he so sure? There had to be something to make him think that. Later, Lynn admitted to her husband that it was Blanton. However, the timeline was different and didn't fit the actual truth of the story. She claimed the affair lasted 4 months longer than the actual 6 months. Was she seeing two people at the same time and wanted it to seem it was Blanton the whole time? He appears to have had the most clout between the two and could possibly be used to further her career. Once she admitted to her husband it was Blanton she was texting, who really knows? Her husband then began to try to blackmail and extort $350,000 from Blanton by sending threats to reveal all to Shane's wife, children, and board of executives. All of this was done from a computer registered to his employer in Aberdeen under a blind IP number with no name. Blanton then hired legal counsel. Since Sneed's husband's initial extortion attempts didn't work, her husband hired an attorney in Jackson to sue Blanton for alienation of affection. However, this requires 3 major points. Prior to the affair, there had to be a pre-existing loving marriage. This was certainly not the case. Lynn Sneed and her husband had separated before due to his extramarital affairs with a co-worker at Westlake and his involvement in a questionable group. That the love and affection was alienated or destroyed. The reasoning for scratching number 2 out was because, as Lynn said, she aggressively pursued and seduced Blanton. It was later told that she used memorabilia she had saved, i.e., breakup letters he wrote to her from their high school romance, to spark the original talks. The original meeting was in a hotel room that she secured while on a school trip. There were 3 other meetings. That the breakdown of the marriage was intentional on behalf of the defendant. Blanton never made her believe there was going to be a future with him. In fact, he had broken it off with her shortly before she was, quote, caught texting. It has been said that Sneed believed if she forced the divorce of Blanton and his wife, that the two could be together. Clearly, that is not the case. Sneed's husband originally lied to his attorney, stating all 3 points were true in their case, but after research, it was found to be untrue. The attorney dropped Mr. Sneed, and Sneed was met once again with a roadblock in extorting money from Blanton. To that, he made good on his threats and sent an email, this time on his company's letterhead, to Blanton's wife. Next, he slowly began to text each board member one by one. He did not realize Blanton had already given his resignation letter to his board chair. Sneed never confronted Blanton face to face. Blanton was originally asked to stay in his position because his chair believed that he had done more good for the association and that far outweighed what had happened with Lynn. But through interference by a former Heritage head of school, now an MRA head of school, that offer was taken off the table. On a side note, the man that will most likely fill Blanton's position is a former Heritage head and a friend of Mr. Sneed. Was Blanton set up? I guess we'll never know. Mr. Sneed was also on the board at Heritage under that head that is now going to lead the MAIS, allegedly. What a tangled web they weave. Sneed's attorney was then fired. Excuse me. Sneed's attorney then fired him as a client. Y'all, if this is accurate, this is a nasty mess created by adults using the school's money and time to have tawdry affairs. If this is half true, it is an absolute embarrassment to the school and the community. If this is a quarter true, this should and must be investigated by the school board. While Principal Sneed is now gone from the school, it is still clear the administration and possibly the school board were complicit in hiding from parents that this is a massive smirch on the Heritage Academy brand and destroys any faith in their high moral standards motto. If they hid this and gave Sneed the opportunity to resign instead of completely firing her, what else are they sweeping under the carpet and not addressing? Are they ostriches with their heads in the sand, or are they truly concerned about the children's future in the hands of the people that headmaster and head of school, Sean Harrison, has hired? I want to thank you for coming on today's episode of the Tom Bigby Tales. There will be an episode 6. Until next time.